Welcome to the Central Pennsylvania Music Podcast. Tonight, Gloria Tice and Ruiness. This episode is sponsored by Members First. And now your hosts, Daniel Kime and Alan McCutcheon.
Hello and welcome to the Central Pennsylvania Music Podcast. I'm your host, Daniel. Coming up, we have Gloria Tice and Ruiness. Sitting here with Gloria Tice. Gloria, you are on the board of directors for the Central Pennsylvania Music Hall of Fame. Thank you, first of all, so much for coming on the show tonight.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So, as always, I'd like to kind of start at the beginning. You have a extensive background in music, which is why you're here. So where did you get your whole start in music?
Well, I was actually surrounded by it. My one aunt was an opera singer. She sang on Carnegie Hall. I have another aunt who was a concert pianist. So my dad would drive us to Philadelphia, to the Academy of Music, a lot of times where my aunt was performing, and we would watch her perform. She was also a music teacher. She was a choir director, and we would go to Philadelphia to watch her and her choir perform.
Wow.
She has sung for the Pope. She has sung for Bishop Sheen. You'd only recognize that name if you were as old as I am. But yeah, I've always been surrounded by music.
Okay. So you got most of your inspiration from your aunt there.
Oh, most definitely.
That's awesome. Well, it sounds like she was very accomplished and a great place to draw inspiration from.
She really was.
That's amazing. So when did you start getting into music yourself?
So we went to church every Sunday, and my church had a fabulous organist, Helen Katos, and I grew up thinking I was going to play the organ like Helen in our church. They tore our church down, and I just thought, oh, no, I can't be an organist anymore. But I started going to, when I went to school, my fourth grade teacher, I actually went to a Catholic grade school. In fourth grade, she took me over to the convent after school, and she would teach me piano lessons. And in sixth grade, she said, how would you like to play one song on the organ at church? And I was hooked, because not only do you play with your hands, you play with your feet too. And I just thought that was the coolest thing ever. But I eventually ended up going to college and just being a piano major. Never thought I was going to be an organist. I kind of put that to the side.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And you went to school at Westchester, right?
I went to Westchester.
Okay. Gotcha.
Go Rams. Go Rams.
Love that. And then, so from there, then eventually became a teacher in Lebanon school districts, correct?
That's correct. I graduated, I'll say the year, 1982, in May of 1982. And in fall of 82, I had a teaching job. I was a substitute teacher for 8th grade music. And, oh boy, that was middle school. They don't
really start you off in the trenches there, aren't
they? Really did. I thought college taught me not a damn thing. I wasn't ready for 8th graders.
Oh my goodness, I can only imagine, especially that much just ADD going on right there. Just like, no focus. We gotta learn how to do this. So,
but it was cool, because what I learned is you have to get them where they are. So when I taught a program on strings music, and by the way, the teacher whose place I took for that year left me not one lesson plan, left me not anything. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to make up my own program. But to teach form in music, I ended up teaching Toto, because Toto was a really popular group at that time. And I remember teaching the song, Hold the Line, Love Isn't Always on Time. I started teaching form by that. When I taught strings, I brought out the Charlie Daniels band and just listened to the difference between violin and fiddling, just to get students to connect to where they are. Because for me to talk about Glenn Miller and jazz music, they don't care about Glenn Miller. They don't care about that. But I brought in names of groups that I knew that they would know.
Mm-hmm. that were popular and would really kind of grasp their attention.
It's funny because I've been teaching a long time, and so I'll see former students who I've had back then, and they'll say, every time I see you, I think of that song Toto. It's just so funny.
Oh, my goodness. And you also had a career in music of your own, too, though, right? Outside of teaching?
I
still
did.
do.
So I do. So like I said, on the weekends, I've been a church organist. I was also a director of a praise and worship band at a Lutheran church. So I not only played keyboards, I did vocals. I was the director. When I'm not doing that, when I wasn't doing that, I was involved in our community theater. So I've directed shows. I've been a choreographer. I've been a musical director. I love it all. I've sung with cover bands. Not Quite Einstein. I sang with them for 10 years, and now I'm singing with Johnny Christopher, and I'm getting into jazz, and that's exciting for me.
Yeah, that's super cool. John's a good friend of the podcast.
Yes.
I also on the board of directors.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's really cool. How did you get involved with the Hall of Fame?
Well, it's funny because I got a text message from Holly Serio, who is on the board, and she wrote and she said, Gloria, you've been nominated to be inducted into the Central Pennsylvania Music Hall of Fame as the Educator of Note. I actually thought I was being punked, and I wrote her and I said, Holly, this isn't funny. You need to call me right away. And I knew if it was Holly, she'd have my phone number. As by the way, Holly was my student teacher. She went to Lebanon Valley College as a music major, and she was my student teacher. So within seconds, Holly calls me, and she's laughing on the other end of the phone, and she says, this is no joke. This is for real. And I'm just yelling, what? What? Because I couldn't believe it. Like, I just still think I'm not good enough. I have the lowest self-esteem.
Oh,
I
come
know
on.
I shouldn't say it, but it's like, Holly, is there like a slow year with teachers? Why am I being nominated? And yeah, she just said the nicest things and made me believe that I did deserve this award. And I'm still trying to soak it in.
Yeah.
And it's just been so fulfilling. So many, my daughters put something out on Facebook, and so many of my former students just wrote to say the kindest things to me, and I'm just still trying to soak it all in.
Well, that's amazing. I mean, you put the time in, and you've made a huge impact on our local community. I'm sure even further out than that, I'm sure some of your students have gone and branched out of Central Pennsylvania as well.
They have, and it's really humbling to see so many of my former students. They have careers in music. Some are professors, some are Broadway entertainers, some are composers. So it's really, really, really neat to see how as an elementary teacher, we plant the seed. Mm-hmm. High school, I've taught high school, and I'm blessed with high school music. I get the students who want to be in chorus. Mm-hmm. When you're in elementary school, we're the ones who plant the seeds. So when I go to these high school musicals and I see the students on stage, it's because teachers like me, elementary teachers, we plant the seed.
Yes.
And we love to watch it grow. That's part of the beauty of being an elementary music teacher. You get to see the finished product.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really cool, and it's funny too, because if you think about it, like there's not a lot of musicians you meet. They're like, oh yeah, I just when I was 21 years old, I just randomly decided, I should get into music one day. That always starts. I got into music when I was 11 years old, and you got into music at a young age. Mm-hmm. It takes someone to plant that seed, and then people can learn and grow up with that and morph themselves into the person they are and the musician they are, which I think is really, really neat.
Yes. When I was at the award ceremony in March, and you saw that the youth band who did what was the song that they performed when we watched the video?
Baba O'Reilly.
Yes, the Baba O'Reilly. So many of those kids, I give a lot of credit to their music teachers. I think music teachers have a lot of influence. Mm-hmm. And that was exciting to see. Those kids rocked it.
Oh my gosh.
They rocked it that night.
My goodness, they are insanely skilled musicians.
They're all skilled musicians, and I'm sure that it's a lot of it's born in them, that talent.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have a teacher who cultivates it, what you saw on that video, that's a culmination of so many people in the background who have helped to cultivate that child.
Oh, of course. And the amount of practice those kids do too. We interviewed them at the Youth Music Showcase. Not all of them, most of them at least, in the years prior. And I know, for example, like Alex Lee Warner, he's a guitar player who did part of the guitar tracks on that song. He told us he practices for like, Hunter, was it like 4 hours on a bad day or something like that? I mean, it's dedication. Yeah. And he was, I think, 15 at the time we interviewed him as well.
Music is a discipline. I mean, when I went to college, I was, even on Saturday mornings, I was spending 4 and 5 hours in a practice room, just playing piano and singing and just doing scales up and down. Mm-hmm. It really is a discipline.
It is.
And we're like athletes of a different type.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree. You find a way to make it your lifestyle. I was homeschooled until 10th grade, and I used to like sit at my kitchen table and do my school with a guitar in my lap, and just in between stuff just kind of get my hand motions down and just play while I'm reading or while I'm doing whatever. Yes. So it takes that dedication, and it's really neat to see people find that dedication at a young age. And once again, it comes back to you who plant that seed, which we can't thank you enough for.
Oh, you're welcome. You don't have to thank me, but you're welcome.
So you've done a lot over the years, and you've accomplished a great amount over the years as well. If you could go back in time, is there anything you would maybe change or anything or do differently?
Oh my, yes. So when I was 20, I saw this flyer. Do you want to sing at Disney World? You can be singing at Cinderella's Castle. And so I went to an audition at Hershey Park. They had area auditions. So I came home and I sang at Hershey Park, and I did the audition, and I made that cut. The next cut was they sent 100 people to New York. You had to go to New York for the next round of interviews. And I sang a song by Melissa Etheridge. I can't even think of it right now, but I knew that it was Melissa Etheridge. And surprisingly, I made that cut. The final cut was they flew 25 people to Florida. We stayed at the Contemporary Hotel, and that's where the final audition was.
And there's only one person coming out with this job, correct?
No. They selected 10 people to be one of the Disney kids on the castle.
Okay.
I was chosen to be one of the Disney kids on the castle. I was given a contract, and they said you either had to sign a 6-month contract or a year contract. I didn't know anything about contracts, so I asked if I could call my dad. I got on a payphone and I called my dad and I said, Dad, I made it. I made it. I got the job. They want me to sign a contract. And he said, well, ask them if you can bring it home and I'll have my attorney look at the contract. And I said, Dad, they won't let me bring the contract home. They said I have to sign it right here. And he said, that sounds fishy to me. Don't sign it. Don't sign it. I knew what that would mean.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, don't sign it. There's something fishy. And I didn't sign it. And I had to go in there and tell them I can't take the job.
Oh, my goodness.
So my regret is, and I was scared of my father. So if I would have said no to him, who knows where I would be? I mean, you know the amount of people that go to Disney World. I would have been one of the kids on Disney World, like on the castle, like the
huge deal.
Cinderella's castle. And so if I could do a redo, that's the thing I would do. I try not to live with regrets because I believe, I'm a Christian and I know God it's all planned.
Mm-hmm.
He has my life planned. But if I could do it one more time, I would say no to my dad and I would have signed that year contract.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat.
It's such a tough decision there. But, like you said, you like to live your life without regrets. And who knows, maybe you wouldn't have enjoyed it like you thought you would have. But you've gone out and you've made such a great life for yourself without that. I think it's, still just such a tough thing. And I'm sorry, you didn't get to do that. But, here you are
me
today.
Too. But
and you're still doing your passion with music.
I'm still doing my passion.
And that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think so.
You think so? That's good.
So I retired from teaching in 2020.
Okay.
And when I retired at 2020, it wasn't because I was bored with teaching. I'm always going to love children. I'm always going to want to be a teacher. But I knew it was time to do something else.
Yeah.
And that something else was I just wanted to work in a winery and hand out wine samples. But then, COVID happened.
Of course.
So wine sampling was not going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm now working in at the WellSpan Good Samaritan Hospital.
Okay.
And I work as a sitter. And I work with behavioral health. I sit with people who've been brought in by the police or a family member, people who have suicidal, homicidal ideations. I sit with people who are going through active heroin, meth withdrawal, and they need sitters. A lot of them, they don't realize they're a danger to themselves or to other people, and they're very different people on drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, because I've been teaching for so long, COVID has really messed up so many people. I'm now sitting with a lot of my former students.
Really?
A lot of my former students. But I use music. If I'm not sitting with people who have suicidal, homicidal thoughts, I sit with people who have dementia. And so I'll ask them, what kind of music do you like? And if they say, oh, I love country, I take out my phone and I'll play country music for them. And the music really, it transforms a person.
Yeah.
They're singing the words. I look at my own mother who has dementia, and she lives in an assisted living facility. The minute I walk in that room, I'll put salsa music on, and my mother's dancing. She's dancing. She's a different person.
Really?
What I love about music, we are so blessed that we have the gift of music, that I see people who do have dementia, and they'll get up they have talent shows there.
Mm-hmm.
And I know some of the residents, and I know how bad their dementia is worse than my mother's, but they'll sit at a piano and they'll sing lyrics to a song. And it's really beautiful to see that. There's a concert a violinist there who has dementia, and her fingers don't work like they used to, but she still has it.
She still has that drive for it.
It's just beautiful to watch. That's the power of music.
It is. It brings everyone down to their core. It's like, I'm trying to think of a good analogy. It's like, when you think about like famous people, it's like at the end of the day, they're all people like you and me.
They're all people.
And it's the same way with, the people you work with and dementia patients and stuff like that. We're all people, and we all find joy in the same thing, which was it's like a core value that everyone enjoys is music. It's something that brings everyone together.
Well, look how we all coped during COVID. It was music that helped people.
Mm-hmm.
Music, I use it for happy occasions. I play weddings.
Yeah.
I play funerals, and a lot of times it's hymns and Christian just songs that bring people together.
Yes. Yeah, and it's such a joy to be able to share that with everyone in any setting. Me personally, I'm not sure about you. I have music playing pretty much 24/7 when I'm not doing this, and it's awesome to have that experience in my own relationship with music as well, where I have my playlists for the time of the years, the mood I'm feeling. What do I want to listen to today? It's awesome to have that to fall back on.
Absolutely.
So. Wow. Well, Gloria, thank you so much. This has been an amazing interview.
Thank you.
You are such an accomplished music scholar. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. I feel like we could talk about this for hours, and we probably only scraped the tip of the iceberg. Is there anything I may have missed or anything else that you wanted to maybe shout out or mention before we go ahead and wrap this interview up here?
I need to meet Glenn Hamilton. I love 97.3 The River, and that's my dream. I have to meet him.
You've never met Glenn?
I have not, and I play fact or crap, and Glenn, I'm ready for you. I want to play fact or crap with you.
We're going to make this happen.
We have to.
I'm pretty sure I have his cell phone number. I will text him as soon as we wrap this up and say, hey, we're meeting. We're linking you up with Gloria. She's going to play fact or crap.
Fact or crap.
Let's go. All right. Perfect.
Thank you
Gloria,
so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I really appreciate it. And we will talk to you soon. All right.
Rock on, everyone.
We're sitting here with Ariana and Eric from RUINESS. Guys, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Of course, I appreciate it. I just laughed because I said tonight. So thank you so much for coming on. It's super exciting to have you here. New band from Central Pennsylvania. You guys have been around since like June this year, right?
Yeah, we had our first debut show, opening for I Set to Kill at Love Drafts in June, and released our first single in May, so just kind of dove right in.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So new talent coming from the area. We love to see that. Let's kind of talk about the band's history. You guys all are prior musicians from other projects, coming together to make this new rock band. Let's talk more about the band. What's your guys' history like?
Okay, yeah. Eric, do you want to start off with it? Because you got some history here, too.
Well, how far back we going?
I was born in 1986.
It was a cold day.
No, I play bass in the band, and I that was my first instrument that I picked up. But I hadn't played in a long time, and I started playing in a metal band called Archaea in this area, and that's how I met Dylan. And he invited me to play in
Our drummer.
our drummer, in a cover band that the other members, pretty much the members that are in the band now, are still in, and that's how I met all these guys. And yeah.
Nice.
Our drummer's Dylan from Observe the 93rd. We have Greg from Void Hidden, and we have Eric, so it's a little amalgam of things. And
Okay.
I sing in Made in America too, Iron Maiden tribute, and that kind of opened doors for, Airwaves. That was our original project name for the cover band.
Okay.
And we did like Paramore, Flyleaf, and then we decided for the Hailstorm set we were going to get rid of the Airwaves and just make it all RUINESS. So we have some tributes, but focus is originals. And yeah, I've been around for a while, but I've only like really tried going into it seriously in the past like year or two.
Okay.
So I've had some cover bands before. I've opened for Observe the 93rd like 12 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So it's been a minute, but I'm excited to finally be writing. They definitely opened an insecurity of mine that I'm really grateful that they have.
Yeah.
So
Writing music's awesome. It's really fun. So
it's such a good release.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. And so you guys have 2 songs out now, correct? 2 originals.
Yes. We have 2 out, but we have about like 5, 6 ready to go at least. My phone notepad's obnoxious.
Okay.
Greg's like shaking over there. I have like 200 something, like little clips of something. I'm like, I'm ready. Let's go.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we thinking like a full length in the future or an EP?
It's a secret.
Okay.
For now.
Fair enough.
We had that discussion recently of which direction we're going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, everyone's taking different directions right now. A lot of people are just doing singles even.
The whole single thing, it seems to be the way to go.
Yeah.
And it seems to be working for a lot of people. But people still put out full lengths and demos and, stuff like that. So not really sure.
I think a lot of people still enjoy the full length album. Your favorite band drops a 13 song long album. My goodness, can't speak. It's awesome. You're like, oh my god, I can't wait to listen to this. So that's always exciting.
That's what I like listening to an album front to back, and I like a lot of my favorite bands have concept albums.
Mm-hmm.
So that's still a thing I love. So the whole like just releasing singles, I get it, but I'm a big fan of like a full production, full album.
Oh, you gotta love the bands that do both too, or just like
Yeah.
constantly, like Dance Gavin Dance, constantly dropping singles and then a full length every 2 years.
Yeah.
Love that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
It's also an industry that's always kind of changing, flowing too. So it's like kind of have to keep up with at that current moment as well.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
of course. So you've been playing a lot of shows too here locally. Love Drafts, correct?
Yeah. We had a little a low key residency kind of going on there. Had a Hailstorm set, and then the next 2 weekends we did like Eva Under Fire and a really cool like Friday the 13th show right before Christmas time too with our friends Gunmetal, Gray, and Karma.
Oh,
Pretty cool.
Awesome. Yep. No, those guys actually have, technically not interviewed Gunmetal Gray, but I think I've interviewed most of the members just in their different projects. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. And Karma as well.
We're all suckers for multiple bands. I get it. There's a madness to it.
Hey,
Love
it's
it.
awesome though, like how many of these bands are just like forming different bands together. It's just like this giant community, which is the entire importance of what we do here.
Yeah, it's
But,
beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of local super projects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much. And it's just like, I just love the love that everyone has for each other and the support. It's just like, oh, this guy's in this band and this band, but they're also in this band together.
Yeah.
It's really cool. It's really cool. And it's interesting to see how they all mesh together. Like I didn't even know Dylan was in your guys' band.
Your jaw on the floor was priceless.
Yeah.
Loved it. You're here?
I was
He's
like, Dylan's here? He's like, yeah, I play the drums in this band. I'm like, huh, didn't know that. So I try my best to stay up to date, but it's hard. So,
I respect it.
but other big shows coming up. You're doing Rock on the Hill in June as well, correct?
Yeah.
Yes,
Brendan
sir.
Starr created that festival a couple years ago, scored Red Jumpsuit Apparatus as the headliner this year. It's nuts.
Man,
It's great.
that's awesome. I used to love them. Like, yeah, that's crazy. I didn't even know they were still touring, if I'm being honest. But that's so cool. I got to make it to it one of these years. I haven't made it before.
You
so.
should come this time.
Yeah, I feel like we
Peer
always
pressure.
have something going on every year for something. I don't know. I'll talk to Brennan. Maybe he can get us backstage. We'll do some podcast interviews or something.
Maybe potential vendor spot.
That would make
even.
sense.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Interview all the
Yeah.
local talent. We did that at, like JB's over the summer. So
That'd be cool.
yeah, would be really cool.
I volunteer as tribute.
Yeah, I'll be there as long as I get to see Red Jumpsuit. And you guys, of course.
Good
Now-
save.
Yeah, thank
That
you.
was honestly, when they announced that they were headlining, like that's a name I've never listened to them,
Mm-hmm.
but you know the name.
Yeah.
So when I heard that, I was like, that sounds big.
Yeah. Oh, wait, you didn't know? Like, you didn't listen to like Face Down back in the day and stuff?
No.
Oh God, dude, I was like 13 years old, acting like I knew what domestic abuse was, dude. That was such a good song.
In his
I-
defense, I don't think it's a concept album. I will give you that.
Well, that's not just what I listened to.
I know. I'm just picking
I grew up on like 90s like grunge music and stuff like that.
Fair. Now you did mention the tribute band part, so let's kind of dive a little bit into that a little bit more. So you do Hailstorm. You said you did some Paramore.
Yeah.
We did a lot of Paramore.
That's my favorite band all time. Haley Williams, idol. Love you. She can't hear me, but love you. Hope your ears are ringing. Yeah.
I hope she hears this.
I hope so,
Yeah.
too.
Oh my God, I have a soft spot for her.
Yeah.
Soft spot for her in my heart as well. I cannot speak today. I
It's
keep
okay.
tripping over my words.
It's
I
all right.
apologize.
I'm not a doctor, so please don't have a stroke. But I
Oh
got
no,
you.
I'll do my best.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I appreciate
got
that.
you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Reel it in, Danny. No, just kidding. Yeah,
Oh, my
but
goodness.
the airwaves was a lot of fun. I'm gonna miss parts of that, but I'm really proud of us, like with what we've done with Ruiness so far,
Mhm.
and bringing it all under one umbrella. Because like if you like that, like artists like this, and we're doing well with that artist, check out our stuff. You know what I mean? And just having the honor of doing a Paramore set in general, like with them being my idols and stuff, was just so cool to have that opportunity.
Yeah.
A little cool thing too, we did All I Wanted, which was a song like years ago I wouldn't have thought I'd ever
That was
be
a
able to
good
do, and
Yeah.
that it's hard, and it's just cool to feel that growth in yourself when you can do something like that later. So there's a lot of opportunities from these guys that I'm very grateful for.
Yeah.
That was something cool with the Airways project. When I got brought in, I didn't listen to a lot of that music that we covered.
Mhm.
Like I heard of the bands, I was aware of them, but did not listen to it growing up. So it was a huge learning curve for me, but it made me a fan of so many of these bands that I just kind of brushed aside.
Mm-hmm. It's like you learned that appreciation for them. And
Oh
like,
yeah, especially like Paramore for sure, because we played so much of it. I'd learned so many of their songs. I had a huge respect for their talent,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not a band that I would have listened to 5 years ago.
No. And that's cool because it helps you like grow as a musician as
Oh,
well.
big time.
Yeah.
And the Hailstorm stuff that we're doing now, like now we're an original band, so like the focus is like making our music, but holy shit, dude, those guys are good.
Yeah.
And
They're
they're a
incredible.
band I've been aware of for so long because they're from this area. I remember when I first started playing bass, they were advertising for a new bass player in Patriot News. That's how like local, and those guys are. When we got offered the chance to play a tribute set for them, I was like, yeah, that'll be no problem. It's been a battle to learn these guys' material.
Yeah. They're extremely talented
Yeah.
musicians. It's like, it's not, it's like, it's so cool because they're a local band, but it's like, oh my God, they have that much talent packed into them as well.
Yeah, it's not like they're not overhyped. They earned every inch of fame they have.
Yes, of course. Now, with your original music, where are you guys drawing your inspiration from? Is it a little bit of all the tribute bands, or is it just let's try to find what our roots are and morph into our own sound, which I think everyone does, but.
I call it ping pong, honestly, because it's my first time like truly like writing, releasing anything, and I can have an idea and I'll just like tap on my leg a rhythm, sing the melody of like lyrics and stuff, I'll send it to Greg and he'll just like write this thing around it, and we'll just like ping pong the ideas back and forth. And then these guys come in and add all the toppings to the sundae. Not Derek. Hi, Derek. Dylan and Eric. I like combined their names. I made a Derek Henry up here. Also in Observe the 93rd. But
Me
it's
and
just,
Dylan are Derek.
yeah, they are.
I'm waiting for Derek to just walk out from behind the curtain right now. Just be like, "Hi guys."
I was sleeping. How's it going? No, but it's been a really fun experience. And there's other times where they'll have stuff that they've created and they'll send it my way, and I'm like, I have something, I got it. Like our first single, Your Friendly Neighborhood, was a full thing that Greg already had like a draft like written for. I'm looking at him. You guys can't see him, but I can. And yeah, it was. I was angry at the time. That one's going to be a little more of a secret, internalized, but that's okay. I'll say songs like that confirm enemies, I think, is a fair way to put that.
Fair.
So know that going into writing songs like that. But it was a good release at the time for me. It was a good venting outlet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll get a little sad here for a second. After Lifeline, I had a friend commit suicide in February 2024.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Me too. I've made my peace with it for a while now. I thank music for that. But he was a lot closer to a lot of other people that I'm very close with. So like trying to maintain that respect of I'm grieving, you're grieving harder, and this isn't about me.
Mm-hmm.
But having this outlet to write, that's what After Lifeline was for me. It was, I don't know what to tell my friends now that they're all in peak grieving. Like it's about that, but it's like, I wish I could have helped you. Like I didn't see the signs.
Yeah.
Where did you go? You said you'd make it to my next show. Like it, yeah. And then like the bridge, it's just, I want it to be like a release for anyone that has to internalize anything that they've gone through, just get it out. And that's what that was. And it's just been such a healthy outlet, you know, especially because there's so many other things people can really go to. Instead, it's just the beauty of music. And so I just kind of use it as a venting situation, but I also am trying to write more inspirationally instead of just like angry or sad all the time. But the goal is to be catchy. I want you to hear it once and it gets stuck in your head, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's a fair way.
Well, what's cool about that song too, the After Lifeline, is it's about suicide, but it can also, you can relate to it. Like I lost my brother and my mother within a year and a half.
Oh my goodness, I'm sorry.
And just the chorus line, like just the lyrics, you can still connect with it. It didn't have to be someone you lost through taking their own life. Anyone connect with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's like a broad reach. Like you can just feel it.
Yeah. You can, like, you know, in a...
It speaks to you.
Yeah, exactly. You feel that pain together. If you know,
Yeah.
and it's somewhat comforting, I'm sure.
Oh, big time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's cool that you guys are being vulnerable with your music writing abilities and just getting out there and writing those songs for the people struggling with those hard times. I know music's definitely helped me through some of the hardest times in my life, so I think it's really cool that you guys are willing to come on here and talk about that.
But thanks for
Yeah,
having
so
us.
that's the best outlet for dealing with anything.
Yeah.
Whether it's you're
And
going
pizza.
you interrupted me.
I'm sorry. I won't do it again.
No, it's a great outlet for the good and the bad. And I wanted to touch on something before we get too far away from it. When you're asking about the process of writing, this young lady and Greg, who you can't see right now, just imagine him.
You'll see him in a bit.
Does everything.
Yeah.
These two are so freaking talented. And of course, me and Dylan do our thing, but they're making it all happen.
That's so cool.
Thank you.
They've done so much. Do not wave your hand at me.
Put that middle finger down.
No, seriously, it's not an over exaggeration. It's just trying to be funny. Those two have put so much work in since June for us to get to playing our first show, having enough material, everything. They do everything.
I love the respect that
So
you guys have for each
it's
other.
those two. Greg should have been on here besides me.
Greg, do you want to hop in here quick? You don't have
Mom? Hi, Greg.
to. Oh, Greg's coming. Hop in here for a second. Yeah. This is completely outside
We've
of
gone
what we
rogue.
usually do. Yeah.
All right, get the hell out of here.
Hi, Greg. Hi.
No, these two are seriously the backbone of the band. They do the most work. Me and Dylan make it happen, but we're making their dreams come true.
Oh, my goodness.
Give Greg the mic. Say, do you want mine? Here. I don't need it.
Hi, I'm Greg.
Hi, Greg.
Hey.
What do you do in the band?
I play guitar.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. So what do you do? I mean, he's over here saying you're the backbone of the band. What is your process like?
That's an overstatement. So our process largely starts with Ari. She comes up with really the main ideas and the themes for all the songs. She has, like she said, a huge file in her phone just filled with small ideas that I'm sorry, you got your thing there.
Whiskey priority, I get it.
That stresses me out, but I mean, she is just constantly creating and sends these ideas. She'll send them to me, and I try to kind of piece together things around it that just create into something bigger.
That's so cool. That is so cool. Now, what was the writing process like? I mean, you guys are all coming from different projects and then finally coming together. What was that process like?
It's kind of quick.
It is fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very different from what I'm used to. It's not so much in the. I'm used to write, like, you get together at practice, and everyone's just like, someone has an idea, and you mess with it. It's very done in the background. Starting with these two, though, he has a little studio set up at his house, so they'll record music and like just send it out in our Discord. Like, what do you guys think of this? And then we just build off that.
That is so cool. So you guys have this amazing chemistry. Like, that is did you guys expect this to happen, or did it just kind of happen? You were just like, oh no, this happened, but we're rocking with it at this point.
For me, it was very random. It was I showed up to practice once for the Airwaves, and they were like, "You guys want to start some original stuff?
Yeah.
Do you want to play bass for it?" I was like, "Of course."
Yeah.
And it was just kind of randomly went that direction, the original direction.
No, they've been trying to get me to write. Dylan's been trying to get me to write. Greg's like, you should write, and get in your head. Everyone I feel like gets to those points, and I just was like, I have these ideas, and I sent them to Greg. He's like, no, I love that, and then I was like, oh, okay, and then I just kind of kept rolling with it. And thank you.
Yeah, and it makes
Thank you
sense
for breaking
because
out.
we were doing well with the cover stuff, and we're all good at what we do. Not trying to toot any horns. I'm usually very humble.
I don't think there's anything wrong with what you said.
So it's like, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? We all have other projects for the most part. Like, she has, Made in America. He's got his original project, Void Hidden. Dylan's in Observed, and whatever the hell else.
Whatever needs help, he's in.
I forgive you. So it just made sense.
Yeah.
Why waste talent when you have it?
Yeah. That's so cool. Well, guys, I'm so excited for you. It seems like you have amazing chemistry, as I've mentioned several times already. I'm really excited to see what's going to come from the future with you. Really looking forward to find out if you're coming out with an EP or a full album. We'll make sure we stay tuned. Is there anything else that maybe I'm forgetting that you wanted to mention or shout out before we go ahead and wrap this up?
www.ruiness.com, RUINESS, all capital letters. That is us.
Okay.
We have a music video out for our first single, Your Friendly Neighborhood, on YouTube as well.
Okay.
But check out our website. You'll find everything right there.
Awesome.
Also,
all right.
all the streaming, like wherever you stream, like we're everywhere.
Okay.
Except that one. Whatever one you're thinking.
That one.
That one.
Okay.
Yeah, not that one.
Not that one. But the others.
Is this like the game, but with music?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just lost it.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Dylan, you might as well just run over here and show your face for like 2 seconds before we wrap this.
Like,
this is completely unorthodox.
picking.
All right. Once again, thank you so much.
Thank
We have a live performance coming up, so everyone stay tuned for the live performance.
Thank you. We're Ruiness, and this is After Lifeline. I'm tired, so tired, just sleeping in again, knowing all this time you're all just caving in. I don't know what to tell my friends now that they're all in peak grieving. I can't imagine what you felt underneath. Just wish you didn't have to leave. Go, you said you made it to my next show. You faked a smile and we didn't know. Under a bed there's overflow. Keep thinking how, if I scream this out loud enough, would you hear me from the other side? Like an afterlife. just trying to make sense of why exactly it had come to this. Can't imagine what you felt on the inside. Just wish you didn't have to die. Go, you said you made it to my next show. You faked a smile and we didn't know. Underprepared for this overflow. Keep thinking how, if I scream this out loud enough, would you hear me from the other side? Like an afterlife line.
My echoes calm, but words can't reach memories stained by the
Where did you go? You said you made it to my next show. You faked a smile and we didn't know. Underprepared for this overflow. Keep thinking how, if I scream this out loud enough, would you hear me from the other side? Like an afterlife line. Where did you go? Like an afterlife line. Where did you go? Like an afterlife line. Cool. Thank you.
That about does it for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Central Pennsylvania Music Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Daniel, and we'll see you next time.